Welcome to NCCP, a United Methodist community featuring locations at Grace, Greenmount, and St. John's in Hampstead and Upper Cove, Maryland. You can also find us online at nccpumc.com and on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Well, a few weeks ago, Pastor Melissa and I were at the Greenbrier Resort in southern West Virginia, which is one of the finest there is. And we were there without our kids, because Dave and Helen took care of our kids. And it was an unbelievable opportunity. As we pull in, we check in at the gate, and they gave us our name placard for the car, and we pull up the driveway in our Hyundai. And underneath the carport, the staff, swarms in on our car. And they opened the doors, Mrs. Rudolph, Mr. Rudolph, and let us out. And they literally take everything out of our car. Thankfully, we had that car and not my other car, and all the kids' trash and stuff. They get our luggage and they load it up, and they take our car away, probably far away from all the BMWs and Mercedes. And this little man in a different kind of uniform opening the door for us and welcoming us. And I had my robe and stole for a wedding, so they called me Reverend, and they called Melissa the First Lady. So if you see her, call her the First Lady. Check in, again, all the same, just unbelievable. The bellman taking our stuff to the room, just yes sir and yes ma'am, and a bit overwhelming at times when you're used to that kind of hospitality and manners. And for a moment, for a really brief moment, I wanted our kids to be there, just to see the hospitality. See what it means to have manners and to do things the right way, and the bellman remembering us a couple days later and checking in how the wedding went and that sort of thing, just unbelievable. I learned a few things about etiquette. Pastor Melissa knows all about etiquette. Dave and Helen took her to fine places. We went to KK State Park for a cookout. Anyway, at breakfast one morning, if you follow me on Facebook or friends, you might have seen this, but I had these great $45 pancakes and sausage and bacon and warm West Virginia maple syrup, whatever. I took a bite. It was ecstasy. Then, while I'm chewing, Pastor Melissa needs the cream for her coffee, so I'm reaching, and the staff swoops in and takes my plate. One bite in. And my mouth is full, and I'm confused. So I don't say anything. Melissa's just worried about her coffee, so she doesn't say anything. They take it. And so I'm having a conversation with Melissa about that. And she says, well, it's one of two things. Either they were appalled that you were eating bacon with your fingers. Right, Kay? Right. Kay and I had a conversation about this. Or B, more likely, I had my knife and fork in the 4 o'clock position. I said, 4 o'clock? What the heck does that mean? Exactly, but that's the symbol that you're finished. Yeah. So, but that's how they pay attention. They just got people, all kinds of hospitable people just paying attention to every detail. As if I didn't have the rule book. It's just unbelievable. Another thing that I learned, the hospitality of what happened was they took my pancakes. I got some more to eat. Don't worry. Different world of hospitality, a surge of hospitality that we weren't used to. I didn't know how to explain it like that. that surge of hospitality. It was just so shocking. It was shocking to our system because I'm used to taking care of all of our families. You know, I cook, I clean, I do yard work, I do laundry, I take care of other people's kids.
Reality stuff will come back to it.
That's right. When I saw that Hyundai pulling out, I said, oh, it's over. But I didn't know that I have a phrase now to give to that. And it's from the story that we just read about Lydia and Paul. In the Message translation, he translates this word that normally gets translated for us as urged, as a surge of hospitality. And so when Lydia is urging them to stay with her, it sounds like this in the Message. And it's a beautiful way to articulate shocking hospitality. After she was baptized, along with everyone in her household, she said in a surge of hospitality, "If you're confident that I'm in this with you and believe in the Master, truly come home with me and be my guest." And so that surge of hospitality is the way he translates the Greek word parabiazomai, which in other translations is urged. Surge of hospitality. It's an interesting part of the scriptures here, this middle part of Acts. It's a gateway to Paul and the apostles sharing the gospel with the whole world, with the Gentiles. In the previous chapter, they just had a conference, a meeting. What are we going to do? Who is this available to? If it's available to people outside of the Israel family, what do they have to do in order to be in the club, for lack of a better word? And so this is the first action. He's on a trip. And if you just read the first few verses before this passage, Paul's intention was to go kind of in a circle, to stay in that stay in that same small circle. It's hard to say. Around the perimeter around Jerusalem, the towns and places around. But God gives him a vision to go towards, for lack of a better way, without a map, towards Europe. And so from that direction, the gateway to Europe, the gateway out of the Middle East, is through present-day Turkey. And so Lydia is in this area that we would describe as the gateway. So this is a gateway to the Gentiles. This is a gateway to us learning about the good news of Jesus Christ. It's a surge of hospitality. It's drawing the circle wider. And so it's a fabulous little passage and chapter here, chapter 16 of Acts. And so all this is happening as they gather at the river, and Paul knows there's going to be some people there that have not heard the gospel, and it begins here with the story of Lydia and her whole household coming to know the Lord, being baptized, and then this surge of hospitality. In return, she invites them back in order to have them stay. This word parabiazomai is used one other place in the New Testament. This Greek word for urge, or in Peterson's language, surge of hospitality. It's a very specific way to say you're going to urge somebody to do something. And so it's used one other time, and it's also by Luke, and it's in Luke chapter 24. And that's the story of the disciples walking to Emmaus. We dealt with that a few weeks ago after Easter. The disciples are walking to Emmaus, and Jesus walks up behind them, and they don't recognize him. They have these conversations. At the end of the day, that same word for urging is used. So they came to the edge of the village where they were headed. Jesus acted as if he was going to go on, but the disciples urged him to stay and have supper. He urged him. And it's during this supper, when they break the bread together, they have a meal together, it's during that time that the disciples recognize Jesus. So Jesus is revealed to them by this surge of hospitality. Amen? This surge of hospitality. It's through having a meal together. So not all the talk. So they were talking along the road. They were having discussions. So the talk did not reveal to them who Jesus was. It was the sharing of the meal together. Very powerful moment. And it's the same word that Luke uses, again, in this Acts story with Lydia and the apostles. So you can imagine it's during this urge of hospitality that Jesus is revealed not just to Lydia and her household, but to whoever else had gathered there for that meal when Paul and the apostles come. This urging. So it's in this hospitality that Jesus is revealed. It's a very powerful way to think about an outcome of hospitality. So you and I, extending hospitality to another, Jesus can show up. That's why our holy meal, the sacrament, the communion, Jesus promises us to show up there. And so when we're all invited to that table, Jesus is meeting us there in the bread and the wine. It's the same concept. And so it's a great way to think about it. If we go out into the world this week and want to shock the world with hospitality, we want to surge into this hospitality moment. Jesus is going to meet us there. There's a second way I want you to think about an possible outcome for this surge in hospitality. And that is, as we close, I want you to think about when we were checking out of the Greenbrier. All good things have to come to an end. So I had to call down there to the valet desk, and I called, and they asked what room, and I said, "Yes, Mr. Rudolph, we'll have your Hyundai." She said, "Is she like stressed? Honda, we'll have your Honda. We're not bringing you a BMW. You're gonna get your Hyundai back."
Did you have on a sticker, "This is my other car"?
Yeah, I should have. So we went down and we're waiting there under the balcony, waiting for our car. And we're having these conversations, Melissa and I. And I was like, man, I'm just starting to get a little bit depressed. We're getting ready to go back to the real world, but also excited about what we had just experienced. This surge of hospitality that we weren't used to on a daily basis. And I said, I just can't imagine that we will ever get to experience this again. And this is just unbelievable. I just cannot believe we just did this. And she looked at me. I don't know exactly what she said. I can't remember exactly, but I know the impact it had. I get cold chills thinking about it. She said, "You think this hospitality was spectacular. You wait till we get to heaven." Amen? And that heavenly banquet that we have to look forward to, and the heavenly host, the Greenbrier will have nothing on that experience. Yet it did serve as a foretaste to be able to think about it in that way. So that's the second outcome from our radical, our shocking hospitality, our surge in hospitality that we offer others. Jesus might show up, number one. Number two, we can give someone a foretaste of what awaits in heaven. So that's my prayer for myself, and that's my prayer for all of us here, that we'll be able to shock somebody with our hospitality this week. We'll be able to surge in hospitality in such a way that Jesus will show up, and we'll all have a foretaste of the heavenly banquet and the heavenly host. Amen?